Have you ever heard of the story of the rabbit and the tortoise? Well, the story goes like this. One day, the rabbit was boasting to all of the animals in the forest about his speed, claiming that no one could beat him in a race. The tortoise, who overheard the rabbit's boasting, challenged him to a race. The rabbit, thinking it would be an easy victory, accepted the challenge. Well, we all know how the story goes. The rabbit takes an early lead in the race, he becomes overconfident, and decides to take a nap before finishing the race. The tortoise, who moves slowly but steadily, continues to plod along and eventually overtakes the sleeping rabbit, crossing the finish line before him and wins the race. It is a famous tale that teaches us about the values of persistence, hard work, but also do not get overconfident. Now, today I'm going to tell you another story about a race against a tortoise. An ancient Greek philosopher called Zeno said that if a tortoise had a head start, even Achilles, a legendary and the greatest warrior who fought in the Trojan War, could not beat a tortoise. Imagine a race between Achilles, a swift-footed Greek warrior, and a tortoise. Why would Zeno's claim that Achilles would not be able to catch up to the tortoise? Now, let's take a look at Zeno's argument. One of Zeno's famous paradoxes is the dichotomy paradox. It argues that before you can travel any distance, you must first travel half that distance, and before you can travel half that distance, you must travel a quarter of the distance, and so on and so on and so on. This implies that it is impossible to ever reach your destination, since there are an infinite number of points to travel. Having said that, Zeno argues that because the tortoise is given a head start, Achilles must first reach the point where the tortoise began. By the time Achilles reaches the tortoise where the tortoise began, the tortoise would have already moved on by then. And by the time Achilles reaches the next point, the tortoise would have moved on, and so on and so on and so on. So Achilles would never be able to beat the tortoise. This is a well-known paradox called the Achilles and the tortoise paradox. Now, Zeno's paradox raises a fundamental question about the nature of time, space, and motion, and have been the subject of philosophical debate for centuries. Mathematicians and physicists have also engaged with the paradox. In fact, some of the most important breakthroughs in mathematics and philosophy have been in response to paradoxes raised by Zeno. One of the key solutions to Zeno's paradoxes come with development of calculus by mathematicians such as Isaac Newton. Calculus introduced the concept of limits, which allows mathematicians to deal with infinitely small and infinitely large quantities in a rigorous way. Another solution to Zeno's paradox was proposed by the philosopher Aristotle, who argued that the paradox arises from a mistaken view of space and time as being infinitely divisible. Aristotle argued that space and time are actually made of discrete and indivisible units. Overall, whether Achilles can or cannot beat a tortoise continues to be a debate studied by many philosophers, mathematicians, and scientists, and many solutions have been proposed over the years to resolve the apparent contradictions that Zeno's paradox raises. So what is your argument? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.